Ladies, calm it down. I know it's been one hell of a hot minute and you guys don't give a fuck that I'm back. But I am. And I think I kind of redeemed myself because I had to watch this movie and you guys don't have to. We're talking Captain America 4, Brave New World.
For me, Captain America represents a lot of different things.
You've got to do better, Senator.
I don't think the term, America should be one of those representations.
We're going to call it Falcon, what it is, because if anything, this ain't a sequel to Captain America. This is a sequel to the Incredible Hulk, out of all things. Like, what? What are we doing, Marvel? Like, this movie had villains from the Incredible Hulk rather than actually just having Captain America villains. Like, are we that desperate? Like, we're pulling a Flash here. Anyways. Let's get into the details of the movie, shall we? The movie revolves around a political divide between America and Japan with a race to obtain resources off the celestial being in the Indian Ocean. These resources being adamantium. What? No way. Crazy. And this is all because of the celestial that rose out of the ground from Eternals. Do we remember that 4 years ago, I think now? Nope, me either. We follow Falcon in his place in all this and trying to uncover the deeper mystery of what's going on with internal threats, with General turned President Ross having now running the country and seemingly wants to bring the world together. We get to see this as his main threshold in his political campaign where it just says, "Together!" Subtle. This continues when he becomes president, seen after his attempt to make allied treaties and, oddly, reassemble the Avengers, which was a really off-putting scene to me, just because not only you recast William Hurt as Harrison Ford, which I think was so stupid when you have access to Sam Elliott, but also I don't think you needed to recast William Hurt. I think they could have just, like, if you wanted to recast him, you might just want to put like kind of a subtle hint to like his recast and not make a joke out of it.
I have to admit, I'm still getting used to the new look.
They said lose the mustache or lose the election.
Lose the mustache or lose the election.
Oh my god, that's terrible. Why would you throw that in? It's not even funny. That's just stupid and cruel. Like, imagine in Black Panther 2, after Chadwick Boseman died, they said in a line, they said either lose the afro or lose the helmet. You know, like, it feels like something you wouldn't put, and I mean, it is kind of weird to me that they recast William Hurt, who's such a minor character in the MCU, but they won't recast Chadwick Boseman, who's literally Black Panther? Like, I don't know, seems a little weird to me, Marvel, that you're not going to recast such a major character, but you'll recast a minor character for a shitty movie? If I'm being honest here, I'd rather see Black Panther and not Red Hulk again. Anyways, yeah, but again, the whole scene kind of felt weird to me, so he brings Falcon aside in this White House party, and he's talking to him about what he wants to do, and this whole proclamation of bringing the Avengers back, which just feels completely out of character for Ross, and they even say that. They're like, "Sir, with all due respect, you tore the Avengers apart," and he's like, "Yeah, I know, but, you know, trying to make the world a better place again, remember?" And it's like, okay, I kind of get that, but, like, you would think we would kind of have an arc with Ross's character rather than just already getting there. You know, if his whole arc, instead of doing what they did in this movie, we'll get into that, I think it would have been cooler if what they did was Falcon realizes he's just a dude, right? Like, he's trying to be Captain America. He's a decent Captain America. He tries to fill Steve's shoes. He won't be able to. He can't. I mean, it's not possible. Steve is Captain America. Falcon's Falcon. But in the case of this movie, let's just throw it out there. So Falcon's like trying to become Captain America. He's working as hard as he can without the serum, and he realizes that he's just kind of a dude. And he sees all these events happen. He's working with his little Hispanic partner. I don't remember his name. Young Buck, we're gonna call him. He's working with Young Buck. Young Buck gets injured, and a whole bunch of other stuff happens, and Falcon realizes he needs more than just himself. He needs a team, and that's when he brings it up to Ross, and Ross like eventually leans into it. You could play into that whole arc a lot better, and that would make way more sense than what they did. They pretty much just repeated the same arc from Falcon and the Winter Soldier and put it in this movie and dropped the racism aspect, which was good on them because that was stupid as hell. But I just feel like they could have done more in this movie, and they just kind of just stuck to their guns, which is kind of a poor choice for Marvel. And then after that, it just got even weirder when Falcon's like, okay, this is some pretty good confidential info. Walks out. Next person he runs into, he just spills the beans about all of this. I'm like, no wonder Ross kicked you out of his bunker after you came back. Like, ain't no way you're telling people about that. He told me to restart the Avengers. Shut the fuck up. That's not something you bring up. After that little mishap with Falcon, we get to see a little taste of our main villain in the movie, where people in the White House party start to get mind controlled after Ross shows them a quick presentation of the Celestial Being, and they try to assassinate him. But one of them turns out to be Falcon's friends, and they arrest him, and it's like this really sad scene where he's like, please don't send me back, and it's like, buddy, you just tried to kill the president. Like, just take it, or you're gonna get shot. Like, come on, man. And then everyone's like, what the fuck just happened? Why'd everyone try to kill Ross? And it's like, we've seen this before. And then Falcon even brings it up. He's like, I had a friend that had this happen to him. It's like, ain't no way. Yes, of course this is related to Winter Soldier, but you know, whatever. So Falcon runs back to Ross's little bunker, and of course, like I said before, he gets kicked out because he's out of line, and Ross is like, you're not Steve Rogers, and he's like, yeah, you're right. So after Falcon gets kicked out of Ross's bunker, he runs back to a Young Buck, and they plan to take down and figure out what's been going on with their friend and why he got mind controlled and like tried to shoot the president. So Falcon goes on a little journey and then gets beat up by one of the other villains in this movie, played by Giancarlo Esposito, who was completely wasted. Oh my God, was he a terrible villain. His name was Sidewinder. He sounds like a fucking Transformer. Falcon, of course, beats the shit out of him. And I mean, the guy's like 60 years old. Who would have thought? And then, yeah, Falcon takes his phone, he answers the phone, and then it's the main villain on the phone. Oh shit, here we go. And then the main villain says something ominous, and Falcon's like, let's track his ass. So he goes to Young Buck, and they track him. Like the main villain wouldn't have thought of that. Jesus. And then they're driving to find out where he is, and he's at like this little government prison where no one can break out of, even though they break in like under 28 seconds, but whatever. They think that the villain is like trying to like trick them and make them go back, but like literally, like, they should know he wants them to come there. Like, that was probably his way out. Like, oh my God, these idiots. They go down, and then they find out that this prison was actually a secret laboratory where the main villain, who turns out to be the leader from the Incredible Hulk, was conducting these little experiments and like testing out mind control. He's got all these files on people in the White House, including President Ross. It's like, what's going on here? What are we doing? And then he reveals himself, and he looks like a piece of shit. Like, oh my God. I know the leader's a weird design, but like, he just looked terrible in this movie. Like, I don't know what the idea was. He also just doesn't look like he belongs in it. Like, the shots look weird. He looks like he was just CGI'd in half the time. And especially towards the end of the movie, when they're in a park.
Holy Jesus. What is that? What the fuck is that?
He doesn't look like he belongs there. Like, Falcon walked past him, and usually it looks like he would like bump past his arm and like knock his shoulder, but like nothing happens, and it's like, what are we doing? It's kind of hard to explain, but like, it just looks so stupid is what I'm trying to get at, okay? Anyways, the leader stops Falcon from getting at him, then runs away and sends a couple of his men on him, which I don't know why you wouldn't just like use that machine you used before and shoot him up, like, whatever. Anyways, of course, Falcon and Young Buck fight their way out of it, but a chick from earlier who's Ross's like general security, who also turns out to be a widow, trained in the widow room, whatever the fuck it's called, all 5'2" of her, beats up 6'5", like 200-pound men without breaking a sweat. I'm like, what are we doing here? And then Falcon's like, damn, okay, she's hot shit. And I'm like, oh my God, this... I don't think he actually says that. They continue on. They go to Ross, where he's already told off the Japanese, where they accuse him of stealing their adamantium, and he's like, you guys are so stupid. Not the best strategy to try and work together, but whatever. So Ross is like, you know what? I'm gonna colonize the shit out of you guys. So they just start going on their battleships. We get a little Top Gun Maverick scene. Young Buck gets hit out of the sky, really injured. Falcon's like, oh no. And dead ass, I'm gonna be honest here, I completely forgot that Young Buck existed after that scene. I'm like, and he got brought back in the end, and I'm like, oh shit, I forgot about that guy. Anyways, we continue on the movie, and Ross is struggling. He's like, oh my god, wait a minute. The leader was putting these wacky gamma doses into my pills, and I didn't know. He was plotting something against me after I locked him in a really bad prison against his will? What? Like, it makes no sense. Why wouldn't you get someone else to make your pills? Like, so the whole time Ross is like trying to help his heart problem so that he can make amends with his daughter, but like, he gets this weird ass looking motherfucker who looks like a plant to make these pills for him. Motherfucker, I would not trust this guy to make me a coffee, let alone make pills for me. Like, get the hell out. Anyways, we continue on, and it turns out, yes, Ross has been taking pills that are filled with gamma radiation, and he turns into the Red Hulk in a big climactic battle with Falcon, which just is weird. Like, why? Why is Falcon fighting the Red Hulk? And then at the end of the movie, they like shake hands and they call it a day, and Ross gets locked up instead of getting sent to the Hulk for some reason, who probably could have helped him a lot, but whatever. And yeah, that's kind of the end of the movie. The leader kind of just screams after not having his way. As you can tell, I'm not a big fan of this movie. I don't think that it's like the worst thing in the world, but like, I was really bored when watching it. I just had no interest in any of the characters. Like, Young Buck, forgot he existed. I've never really been a fan of Falcon. You know, I always thought he was kind of funny, but I never thought he could be the spotlight of a movie. It just, like, it works when it's Winter Soldier and Falcon, just because, you know, you got that kind of buddy cop vibe. I don't even think Winter Soldier can have a spotlight on his own movie. You had this one black chick who, like, kind of felt like a love interest because she would just show up every now and again, but it's like, why is she here? She doesn't add anything onto the plot. And then, of course, you had the Black Widow chick who really didn't add anything onto the plot. There was no development in her at all. I think the only character that had some sense of development was Ross, and I just feel like they did his character dirty from the previous movies. And again, I really did love William Hurt as General Ross, so to just throw in Harrison Ford, because why the fuck not? It just kind of felt weird when you have access to Sam Elliott, who played General Ross in The Incredible Hulk. We've had as many General Rosses as we've had live action Spider-Man. Like, what are we doing? This movie was just kind of all over the place. I'll give some positives. I mean, I think the tone was there and good at some points. You know, I like the whole espionage spy thriller. I think they kind of forgot it at the end when Falcon has to fight Red Hulk. But I think that there were ingredients in this movie that probably could have worked, but after being reshot 5 times, that becomes kind of an issue. Another positive I'll give the movie is that at least there was some sense of continuity. Like, they were trying their best to connect it from previous MCU movies, even if they did a shit job at that. But yeah, I can't really give this movie that much credit. It just really didn't do anything new and innovative for a superhero movie, which is kind of an issue in this day and age. You really have to be something special to get people to come see it. Like, I'll be honest here, I don't give a fuck about any superhero things coming out right now. The only things that I'm excited for is probably the Penguin Season 2 and whatever Invincible has to cook up. And first of all, the Penguin doesn't have a fucking superhero in it, and Invincible has shite animation. So, off to a great start here. I don't know. You got to do something new when you're doing a superhero movie, and I think they had the right idea here of doing something dark, even though they still had those shitty ass jokes in it.
Damn. Nobody saw that.
But you had to do something dark. You had to do something with the spy espionage thing and stick to it. You do not need to have a giant CGI fight with Red Hulk and Falcon. That just never needed to happen. But anyways, That's all I'm going to talk about today. I hope you enjoyed my little rant on this movie. Please tell me what you thought down in the comments below. And thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.